Hey everybody, Brooke Sann here today, and we are talking about work-life balance. So this is for working moms, this is also for anyone really who feels like they have not found that balance in life. So we're going to give you 3 big tips to help you understand this a little bit deeper. The first one we want to talk about is closing one door before opening another one. So I want to talk a little bit about our brain. Our brain likes to focus on one thing at a time. And sometimes when we have lots of different things going on at the same time, we feel out of control, right? We're trying to return emails and text messages and also play with our kids. We are trying to do laundry, but also return a phone call. And that is where it gets messy, right? We feel like this hot mess. Like we have all these things to do and we don't even know where to begin. We're feeling overwhelmed and we feel like we're sucking at being a mom and we're sucking at being, whatever, in our career, wherever we are in our career. So this idea that we really want to, when we're at work and we give it all we got, right? Of course, we're going to get a phone call once in a while from the school nurse and we have to deal with that. That's different. But when we're trying to manage home things at work and manage work things at home, it gets really, really messy. So I want you to take a moment every time you get in your car at the end of a workday and you're sitting in the parking lot. I want you to take 5 minutes. 5 minutes with no phone, with no email, with no phone calls, nothing. Just you in the car for 5 minutes. And this is a quick little reflection exercise, right? Like just thinking about taking notes of the day and like what went really well. What do I appreciate about myself today? What did I do really well? And maybe something we could work on again for tomorrow. What do I appreciate about myself, right? Taking these moments to really reflect on the day to kind of totally close that door and go on to the next thing. When we leave our brain in this like unfinished project mode, like unfinished business, it's not a good space for us to be in when we walk in to our home with our husband and our family and everything that we have to do there. It's not a good place. You know why? Because when you walk into that door, you're distracted. You're unfocused. You are not being present. You've got one foot in one door and one foot in another door. And so, of course, we're not bringing our best version of ourselves. Okay, so we took the 5 minutes, we did some self-reflection. The next 5 minutes, I want you to return the text messages, return the emails, write down that list of things that you have to remember or schedule or call that person back or whatever it is. So 5 minutes of you time to self-reflect, 5 minutes of productive time for work to kind of close up those loose ends. So when we walk in, we are ready to put on our mom hat and be a mom. Okay, so that's the first one. I want you to also think about, the second one is to really get clear about what you really want. Okay, so you think your life is in balance. You feel like you're a hot mess, but what is it that you think you're not doing? What is it that you really want? I always like to tell my clients to think of life as this big pie, right? This big apple pie. And we have different slices that make up each portion of our life. We have our work slice, we have our family slice, our spiritual slice, our physical slice. We have, our financial slice, however you want to break up this pie. Normally like 4 or 5 pieces. Think about, categorize your life into. And when one slice of our pie is in disarray, we think all the pie pieces, we think that the pie is just fallen on the ground and it's just no good and we're done, our life's over, might as well not even try anymore, right? So I want you to think about that one pie slice that is struggling, right? Is it your marriage? Is it your career? Is it your family? Is it your health, your physical health, or your spiritual health? I want you to think about that. And we want to maybe make a statement like, I would like this out of my life. And for me, like one of my favorites is I want to flood my marriage with love and intimacy. That's one of my like core pie pieces that I'm always trying to work on. And when we can focus on that, everything else kind of lines up. And I want to give you some tips and tricks for how to do this. So the third step is to structure your day around that. Okay, so we decided what is it that we want? What are we lacking? What is it that we're not getting that we feel like we're a hot mess? Okay, so I want you to get a piece of paper. I want you to write every single thing down. So we turn off our phone, we turn off our computer, we're in a quiet place. It's either after the kids are in bed or they're at the babysitter's where we don't have any distractions, right? We are totally focused on us and that piece of paper. What is it we have to do? What is it we want to do? And put it all, it's a total brain dump. Get it all out of here where we feel like we're unbalanced and we're falling apart and we're a hot mess, and put it on a piece of paper. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna go through each one of those items and think about, they fall into 4 categories, okay? So we've got the concentrate category, where it's something we're focused on, we want to do. We have the delegate category, where it's something, oh, maybe my husband could do this, or maybe I could, hire this out. Or we have the procrastinate. What is something that we've been wanting to do and we haven't made it a priority? And eliminate, which is where we just totally cross it off and say, you know what, this is not a priority for me right now. And we go through each one of these little points and we put it on our calendar, right? We've gone through, we've decided what's our focus, and it lines up with our greatest pie piece we're working on. And then everything else is we delegate, we procrastinate, or we eliminate, right? So we either schedule it, we delegate it, or we totally eliminate it. This is where structure and ease comes from. I have always felt like, being the type A mama that I am, I've always felt like organization brings me ease. Having a plan creates peace for me. And maybe you're not this kind of mama, but for me, this is where the rubber hits the road. This is where things change for me, because I'm able to take it out of my brain, close that one door, structure what it is that I want. But the last tip is the one that changes everything. This is where my life coaching experience comes in, because I didn't know how to manage my mind around it. I didn't know how to follow through on something and to be consistent with something. I didn't know how to do that. And this is what I will offer you. When we really want to make changes in our life, it always comes down to these 2 core thought errors: that we're not good enough, we're not worthy, right? Like, we don't follow through on these things that we really want because we just don't think we're good enough. And you might be resisting this idea, but that's what it all comes down to, is we don't know how to have our own back and to follow through so that we can live the life we want to. We can find this balance. And I will offer you that balance is a little bit of a far-fetched idea, right? I could look at anybody's life and we could say that it is exactly as it should be. When we think that our life isn't balanced, we subconsciously are telling ourselves that we're doing it all wrong. So notice that and say, my life is right where it is, but if I want to make changes, these are some things that I can do, right? We don't have to change anything to feel peace in our lives, for sure. But I like to make changes. I like to do things differently because I love myself and I believe in myself that I'm worth more, I'm capable of more, that I can do anything that I want to do. So that's where the change comes from. So to recap, if we want to find this work-life balance, if we want to make some changes and stop feeling like we're overwhelmed all the time and we're a hot mess and we're doing a crappy job at work and we're doing a crappy job at home, there's 3 things that we can do. So the first one, again, is to close that door before we open a new door, right? That's when we take the 5 minutes of self-reflection in the car, of our parking lot, at work, or wherever we're changing gears, and then 5 minutes to get things done. After that's done, we show up and we're at home and we're present with our family. We're intentional about how we behave and think when we're around our children and our husband. The second thing is to decide what you really want. And the third is to structure your day around it. Make sure that you are trusting yourself and accepting yourself enough to follow through on the things that you want, to schedule them, to find that structure and that ease that's available to you. That's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this. Please like and subscribe, comment. If we want to keep these videos coming, we got to make sure that you're there. All right, have a great day, and I'll see you next week.